Kent State, flowers are better than bullets, blood, crystals. Bro, what more can you ask for? Matthew, let them know one more time where they can find you.
Awakened Lion on Instagram, Awakened Lion 29 on X. You can even look me up on Facebook. My name is Mathew Lane. Just send me a message if you got any info you can add to the story, or just show some support and look out for the future podcast, the Hometown Prophet podcast.
This mother trucker connected the Kent State, Ohio massacre tonight in Evan. There, I just said it. Make sure you stay tuned to the rest of the show, ladies and gentlemen. That was great.
Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
I promise you, this is not a political podcast.
Jump from the deep end of the pool, set up the mood. Paranoi Radio, set up the mood. Paranoi Radio, set up the mood. Paranoi Radio, set up the mood. 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 Set up the mood.
Let's make deposits into the bank of knowledge. Welcome back to Paranoi Radio Podcast, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I am your humble host, Trebles Garcia, and I want to thank the Lord for allowing me to be here today, and I want to thank every single one of you for allowing me to enter your space. Guys, I have an amazing episode lined up. I swear to God, I almost killed myself, almost went back to drinking, and almost snorted a bag of meth today. But you know what? This guy saved the moment, saved the life, and I instead of doing that, I bought myself some Wendy's. Not promoting Wendy's. I don't get paid to promote Wendy's. I'm just saying, guys. I didn't get drunk, thank God. All right, guys, I'm having a horrible fucking day, so I hope you guys can make it better for me. You know what? As a matter of fact, I want to remind you that the most important thing that you could do for the show today is word of mouth. Check us out at paranoidradio.com. Do not forget to check out the affiliations with Flavors of the Forest. Season your meat before you eat. That's right. And also, drop a 5-star review on a podcast on Spotify. This allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. It's already the end of June. It's June 30th, actually. And what a day. It's been an emotional roller coaster for all of us, guys. And I want to thank every single one of you that if you've made it this far. Some of these episodes are going to drop all the way in August, but still, that's the backlog. I want to remind you guys that you guys did an amazing time and an amazing job at following us on Instagram and also following us on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't already done so and you're here on the page. Guys, YouTube is not blowing up, but it's steadily growing, and I'm very happy with the numbers. So continue to like, share, and subscribe, and share the platform with all of your family members and cousins and ugly aunties and all that good stuff. Make sure you check us out. And guys, I don't even know what else to promote. You know what? Let's jump in from the deep end of the pool and set the fucking mood. Let's give a warm welcome to my next special guest. He's been here before, but I never aired it. Today, we're going to air the shit out of this. Mathew Lane. What's up, big dog?
What's going on, Trebles? How you been, buddy? How you been? I'm sorry to hear about that awful day, but I promise you the information I'm about to bring you today is going to light up your world. It's a fun, niche little topic that not a lot of people talk about, but I promise you is probably one of the biggest moments in American history. It set a precedence and for the upcoming years ahead. And not only did it do that, but it absolutely destroyed an entire movement that was happening for an entire decade. So
shut the front door.
That being
Before anything,
said,
where can people find you? What is it that you're about? Do you have a podcast? What the hell's wrong with you?
Okay. I'm working on the podcast. You saw I sent you the logo. You've been one of my biggest supporters out here, buddy, and I absolutely appreciate it. Ever since I met you, man, you've been reaching out to me and checking up on me and pushing me along to get the podcast out. So it's not out yet. Recording will start soon, but the logo's made. It will be called the Hometown Prophet. Basically, just
badass name, by the way.
I appreciate that. Off the guise of nobody's a prophet in their own hometown, and boy, does that ring true for me, because, I can shout on the biggest, tallest soapbox I could find, and nobody in my city is going to listen to a damn thing I have to say. I had to get on the internet and find people, like-minded people, to, come along and kind of raise me up and want to hear my voice. So nobody's a prophet in their hometown. Eventually, maybe I will be. We'll see.
Look what happened to Jesus. The same thing. He was in Nazareth, and he did. Oh yeah, that kid. I know that kid. He was just a carpenter. Just a freaking carpenter. Check that out.
Carpenter. Yeah.
That dude was fucking opening portals with his blood and shit.
Yes. And you said the magic word of the day. We will be heading down that route. But like I said, for the guys of the show is one. My big story, the primary water with the Gilbertis down in Florida. I will be doing one an interview with Christine, just kind of checking up on Joe. I would like to try to get a hold of her and talk to Joe and get Joe on the show as well. Fortunately, that man's behind bars. So
Yo, but
weekly
you've been
update.
dropping that content. You dropped that on Cult of Conspiracies and other shows, right?
Yeah, Cult of Conspiracy. The White Rabbit was kind enough to give us our very first interview to really get the ball rolling. And I'll tell you what, man, ever since that day, the ball has been rolling. It's been slow, but it's rolling. NDS is on the plate next on July 18th.
Fuck yeah.
We did Cult of Conspiracy. And of course, Janet, the deplorable Janet, the lovely Janet. Can't thank that woman enough.
She's my pod mom.
She's the godmother of the podcast world. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
if you
man.
don't know who Janet is, you better get familiar.
Yeah.
But I also want to interview people from my own hometown. Anybody who's doing anything big out here. There's a guy I went to high school with, played football with, named Brian Rogers, who's out in the not in the UFC, but he does mixed martial arts fighting. He used to do Bellator, and he's pushing 40. He's coming back out of retirement for a fight here real soon in Columbus. Plus, he's trying to promote his business, and he's just an all-around great person. And it's seeing him post his content and a few other people I know. I got friends who are huge flat earthers. They're constantly on the internet arguing with people about the shape of the earth. So I want to give my shout out Jerry. I want to give my boy Jerry a platform to talk on, and just cool shit like that, just spreading the love, bro. That's all I want to do.
Yo, that's what it's all about. You know what, Matt? I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Before we jump into the main topic, there's never been a moment in life more true, more real, more important than right now to be vocal about this stuff, to do the research and bring it forth and be a podcaster and a creator. This is it, bro. We are the mainstream. All the information runs through us. We vet it and we put it out to the world. We're the ones actually pushing people to take the 5 seconds off TikTok from watching ass and go do the research for themselves. And we are the main ones, bro. And I that's why I told you there's never been a bigger thirst for becoming a podcaster and for the information that you're bringing forth also. That's extremely important, man. Today we have a topic on Columbus, Ohio, and some of the cryptic stuff that you found there, bro. The way you broke it down last time, we had interruptions. We had the kids there. I had my kid. We had very limited time. Today we're gonna drop the bombs, bro. And first of all, I want to thank you again for being on the show. Your time means everything. You being on my show today means the fucking world. So thank you for that, bro. Let's jump into it, bro. What's going on in Ohio?
First off, Columbus is an extremely interesting place as well. But this is Kent, Ohio. This is the topic of the May 4th Kent State Massacre. Okay. Bust out my book here. This is probably one of the few books that was written on this topic that actually pointed out that strange things were afoot on that day, the whole weekend. So, I guess this all started, I grew up in Kent. They force-fed us the story as children in school. We even had to go up to the campus and take a piece of paper and do the coloring. I had to color the bullet hole that was left in the piece of metal art outside of one of the buildings. And to me, it didn't look like a bullet hole. Right then and there. That was probably my first conspiracy. I'm like, this just looks like they drilled a hole in it. It doesn't look like a bullet went through the hole. I was in 4th grade when I said that. Fast forward to now, I was on a Facebook group page for my local city. And there was this young man posting pictures and asking if anyone knew exactly where in this park called Towner's Woods, where this memorial was placed in honor of the 4 fallen Kent State students. That one post sent me down this entire rabbit hole.
Holy snap.
Once he found it and took the pictures and posted, hey guys, I found it, and gave the exact marker where he found it, my mind was blown at what I was looking at. And from that day forth, I just started digging. So here we are today. So what I want to start off with is, not a lot of people are familiar with the Kent State shooting. So let's get into that a little bit. And I want to bring out a lot of the conspiracies that happened on that day. And then we'll get into the art, the real kicker of the story here, the real star of the show. So I'm going to hit this share button. And we're going to bring up my poorly put together PowerPoint. Let's see.
I love PowerPoints. I don't have to do anything. Just watch.
Energy harvesting through national tragedy. This, I believe, it's one national tragedy after the next. And I honestly think this tragedy and all the energy put behind it, not only did they knock out the civil rights movements and all the riots and protests that were happening throughout the entire 60s, but I believe, and this is going to sound weird to a lot of you, but this is a conspiracy show, so bear with me. I think this is connected to 9/11.
Whoa.
I do 100% believe that all of these tragedies, from OKC to the Kent State to the Challenger, they're all were being done not only to change society and the way we see the world, but to energize one of the biggest events on the planet.
Like a fucking, like an, like a buildup? Are you talking to me like a buildup, bro?
100%.
This is insane.
Through geomancy and ley lines. Absolutely. And they don't have to be perfect either. Kent is almost directly across from New York City. New York City is on the 40th parallel. We're on the 41st point something. It's just, if New York's here, Kent's just slightly north, but straight across. So a lot of the stuff I'm going to reference on the shooting came out of this book. This William A. Gordon graduated from Kent State and was a journalist at the Akron Beacon Journal, which is about 15 miles down the road from us.
Excuse me.
Just like every other national tragedy, especially 9/11, there's always predictive programming. So here's a little quote from Ronald Reagan, our favorite president, on 4770. And the numbers always have meaning, don't they? 4770. If it takes a bloodbath, let's get it over with. No more appeasement. Strictly talking about protests in the college students and all the riots going on. On June 3rd, 1969, Nixon said on behalf of the government against protests and riots, strike back and prevail. Just a day before the shooting, Sunday, May 3rd, the Ohio Highway Patrol Chief, Robert, I cannot say that name, Charmonte, and the Kent Police Department Chief states the next phase we have encountered elsewhere is where they start sniping. They can't expect us to return fire. They can expect us to return fire. Like Ohio law says, use any force that is necessary, even to the point of shooting. It was extremely significant, like I said, because it stopped everything. All the riots, all the protests came to an absolute halt after this day.
It seems like that's what they do. It seems like right when they're about to lose control or anything, they set off something in motion where people's lives, either transfer of money, transfer of power, or murdering children and innocent people.
It's always multi-layered. It's never one thing. So they get us, even us people in this group, we're arguing over, no, they didn't do it for that. They did it for this. It can be both, if not more, all at once.
Yeah.
So the whole thing started on Friday. Protests flooded the entire country after Nixon invaded Cambodia, right? And then previously there was a draft held September 14th, 1969, just a few months prior. May 1st, riots break out in downtown Kent, known for having over 50 bars in its small downtown district at the time. Windows were broken, stores were looted, businesses set on fire, there were bonfires in the streets. And it all started when a biker gang called the Chosen Few started doing bike tricks in the street. What a name. That's why I picked it out of there. It was not an organized riot or a planned protest. It just happened naturally.
Sounds like they infiltrated something.
On Saturday the 2nd, rumors of the National Revolutionary Group, the Weathermen, were said to be flying into Kent. The Weathermen were a really big protest group, pushing civil rights back in the day. I didn't do too much research on them, but I know they have popped up over and over and over again. And it's a good chance that they were mostly not who they said they were.
Oh, yeah. Kind of like whoever infiltrated the Black Panthers, right?
Exactly. So, let's see. Many officials and townspeople stated that outside agitators or dedicated subversives were sent to the town to stir up disturbance amongst the community and college. Oh, we've never heard that before.
We've never heard that before.
It's been going on since before the 70s. And we're still falling for the same trick.
Just to add some emphasis on this, the Weathermen Underground was a far-left Marxist militant organization first active in 1969, funded on the Ann Arbor campus of the University of Michigan. Originally known as the Weathermen, or simply Weatherman, the group was organized as a faction of students for a democratic society national leadership. Again, keyword far-left, Marxist, militant organization.
Keyword for me is Michigan, because one of our 4 fallen students had just transferred from Michigan State to Kent State before he passed. So I wonder if there's any connection.
Controlled opposition. Oh, man.
Oh, it gets deeper, bro. And they say it, dude, just doing simple Google searches. They're saying like in it. Yeah. And I'm gonna get ahead of myself a little here. All these people knew each other. All the people who died knew each other. They weren't standing in a group, hanging out, talking to each other. They all died on different parts.
Oh, this was a hit.
No, I don't think so. We'll get there though. But I will tell you this: in a lot of my Google searches, it would say like, "Oh, this person was friends with so and so and so and so," and then you go look at them, and they were friends with so and so. Like, they all knew each other without knowing they knew each other, but somehow they all ended up dying that day, or were standing there conveniently for a picture. Well, I digress. Let's see. 7:30. Well, Mayor Satram. Satram. It's a Norwegian word for sea and thunder. Well, we heard a lot of thunder that weekend, didn't we? Or that following Monday. Called the governor for the National Guardsmen to come to Kent. Remember, I'm with Drew Misson. Names have meaning. Their names have a specific meaning for a specific reason. 7:30 p.m. a second rally begins, marching through the campus until the wooden ROTC building was reached. Now, this ROTC building was put together during World War II to recruit kids from campus and everything. It was completely made out of wood. It was an old, tiny little building off the side of campus, not really connected to anything. Let's see. The National Guard arrives at 9:30 p.m. downtown as the crowd, after they set the building on fire, marches back downtown. So, like, the crowd of people come downtown as the National Guard's all hopping out of their trucks. Imagine that. Nothing ends up happening Saturday night. Everyone gets sent home on a curfew. Same thing with Sunday night here. Let's see. Governor James A. Rhodes flies into Kent while losing in the polls to Robert Taft Jr. Robert Taft, Taft, the once president from Ohio. Robert Taft is a descendant of him. So Rhodes flies into Kent, takes a picture next to the burnt down ROTC building, like he took down a bull or something, right? And proceeds to have meetings with the highest ranked National Guard in Ohio and other high level local and state officials in Kent at the fire station conference room. Sunday evening, students hold on another rally on campus. 9 p.m., National Guard read the Ohio Riot Act to the crowd. 10:30 p.m., a student reads a list of non-negotiables, which are basically get the National Guard out of here, lift the curfew, and get out of Cambodia, which none of those things happen. Curfew goes from 1 a.m. to 11 p.m. Crowd starts throwing rocks at the guardsmen. Guardsmen start chasing the crowd with bayonets. Everyone flees, goes back home. The next day happens. Now we're on Monday, May 4th. General Canterbury arrives on campus, orders the National Guard, who had 3 hours of sleep, to start moving on the crowd, which was not informed they couldn't protest that day. Now, a lot of things happened that day, let it unfold the way it did, like one being the National Guard tried using a boatload of grenades, but it was so windy, it was just, it was coming up and just blowing. It wasn't leaving smoke everywhere. It was just blowing it into the wind. So they had no way to control the crowd.
That's the number again, 77 men of a troop. Gee, shot tear gas and blown by 15 miles per hour. Okay.
So do you recognize that number 77?
Oh, 100%. Every single freaking buildup of
our man John Lee
Crowley of it.
So John Lee Chalbeck, and this is another one where it's like, all right, dude, I've got to get this research out here, because John Lee was on NDS. He was just about to say, and even in Kent State, there were 77 men. And then my man Raven cuts him off and he didn't get to finish his sentence. I was like, let that man talk, Raven. I need him to talk. But, I actually got a hold of John and talked to him a bit. And another reason why I'm putting together the PowerPoint, he asked me to put it together. Eventually, I'm going to do a podcast with John, too, and we're just going to chop it up on this topic.
Badass.
John's
I got him back on the 21st of July. I have to wait a little bit, but yeah, man, the dude he freaking blew it up in 40 minutes on the show. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, he's got a lot of information too. But yeah, and again, it's the number 77, all these different high impact ritualistic events happening one after another, man. All 77 sets, it carries that energy. They're doing something with it. If I'm off on my thesis of it being supercharging for one big event, so be it. I'm okay being wrong. You can tell me I'm wrong all you want. I'm okay with that. Then help me figure out the truth. What the fuck are they doing with all this energy?
It can't be. If you put it together, how humans connect and also create, bro. If you put it together, everything. Movies, you got a saga. Jumps all the way to 9, movie like fucking Star Wars did it, The Fast and the Furious did it, Jurassic World did it. If you look at all of this happens, you look at TV series, there's season 1, season 2, big finale, right? Like American Idol, the big finale after 11 seasons. If you think about it, everything works as a buildup of energy so that one big day, you have all the artists, all the actresses and actors perform, and then boom, all the energy is served, bro. It's 1000%.
I want you to take a look at this diagram. If you notice anything, say it.
Now I see it.
All right, my apologies. So where my cursor's at, that's the little pagoda right there. Behind
I see what you're doing now. Okay.
Was Blanket Hill, all right? So they came up Blanket Hill, down another hill, made a big loop, came back up, turned around and started shooting. 77 men of Troop G. and one third of them started shooting. Stop sharing.
Okay,
again.
so there was what's 1/3 of 77? So, oh my God.
I forgot to do the math on that. I apologize.
I'm doing it right now, bro.
It's got to be like
okay, and then you said Group G, right? Which is the sun, which means sun worship, which means Freemason, which means it all connects.
G is also the 7th letter of the alphabet. So 77 men march up the hill at 12:20, turn around by 12:24 and start shooting. Now what's weird is I'm a big guy with synchronicities. 12:20, 12:22, and 12:24 are numbers I constantly see. If I look at the clock or anything else, I'm constantly catching these numbers, especially 12:22. See here, and the bloodbath that Mr. Reagan had promised was delivered.
Mm-hmm.
So now a little more esoteric information for all of you.
Mm-hmm.
The number 13 was heavily present in this day. The preface of this entire book that I'm getting a lot of my information, it starts off with in 1983, on the eve of the 13th anniversary. So setting the precedence with the book, 67 shots being fired on a recorded audio evidence, 6 + 7 = 13. Firing of the weapons lasted 13 seconds. 4 people died, 9 injured, 13 victims total. One of this, on Wikipedia, every person who dies whose name I look up, it was all in feet, except for one who they put 130 yards away instead of feet. And the list of demands came at 10:30. Drop the zeros. You got your
the zero says 13.
And there's more than that.
If you look at the significance of 12, going back to the 12 real quick, you said that number 12 and 12:24, and you're always looking at that. Well, coincidentally, guys, the number 12 holds significant cultural, religious, and symbolic meaning across various contexts, and often representation, completion, perfection, and others, especially in religious and astrological contexts, is also a particular number used by timekeeping and measurement. The 12 tribe of Israel, 12 apostles, revelations, 12 zodiac signs, 12 months. So it's a perfect cycle, like a perfect moon. I wonder what the moon looked like on May 4th. What was it, May 4th? When did this happen?
1970 in Kent, Ohio. May 4th, 1970.
May 4th, 1970.
So,
telling me your story.
I'm extremely happy you said the number 12 because there's so much involved with this that I keep connecting. And people are gonna say, Matt, you're grasping at straws. You're just trying to find shit.
Oh, guess what?
While this was happening, Kent State was building a
Matt.
12-foot story library on the property. At the exact same time this was happening, the grounds for the 12-foot story library was being built. And guess what? I tried finding the height of the library in feet. It don't exist anywhere on the internet. I can only find it's a 12-story building. And this isn't the only building in the area being built at the time. That
on May 4th, 1970, that night, that was the last waning crescent moon, the day before a new moon, May 5th. Perfect timing for a fucking magical ritual.
God, dude. You're fine.
Keep going, bro.
I don't even know why I didn't think to look that up, but I'm telling you, bro. Every time
I'm telling you, Doug, good combo.
You done with your research? You got it put together? I'm like, bro, every time I go to finish it, my brain goes, look this up now.
Hit it, bro. Keep going, bro. Let's put some pep into the step.
All right.
Oh my goodness, bro.
So that's the scene from The Watchmen.
Okay, so that's the
very beginning opening credits. She puts a flower in the barrel of a gun, and then as soon as she places it, they all fire upon him. That was a direct visual representation of the Kent State shooting. And if anybody wants to argue with me, go ahead and do it. But heart, I mean, come on.
Yeah, hit it, bro. What else?
That's
I want to do more research.
I'm telling you, my God, my friend. The amount of historical the things they pulled from this day that people don't even realize either. Can you see that picture?
Yeah.
All right, so that's Jeffrey dead on the ground right there. The girl standing there, we'll come back to her, very important. This picture won a Pulitzer. That picture is what defined the Kent State shooting. If you were reading about the Kent State shooting, you were looking at that picture. Okay. Now, one question I had from a few friends, they were like, well, why the fuck would they pick Kent, Ohio, of all places, to do something like this? It's a good question.
Here we go.
All right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, Kent's not really too different from other places, except for the fact that it was heavily, there was a huge Native American presence here at one point. And here's a picture of the mound. Doesn't look that impressive, right? It just looks like a hill in the woods. But there's multiple. This is also, again, with the New York connection. This mound is right next to a lake called Lake Pippin. And I looked up the word pippin. It just literally means ripened reddish yellow apple. Where can we find big apples at? Can you see that? Big apple. Weird.
Oh.
Weird. Let's see here. Now, these woods.
Okay. Wait. So let's put some emphasis on this. We went through a time of chillness where I was trying to keep up. I really hate. Now I know why I don't do share screens, because I fall asleep. It's not like having a conversation. For me, having a conversation, like, I'm a visualizer. Yeah. What was the name of the mound one more time?
The mound itself doesn't have a name, but it's in the Towner's Woods, which was named after the people who own the property. See, Towner's Woods used to be a farmland that it stopped being a farm. They gave it back to the property, kind of back to the city, and they turned it into a park, and they reforested it.
What is it? What was it called? You said something about an apple?
Oh, it was, the mound is next to a lake called Lake Pippin.
Mm-hmm. Lake Pippin translates into
reddish yellow ripened apple.
That's what you see on the column at the top of the columns in Freemasonry.
Mm-hmm. So, man, I'm telling you, it's just little things most people just look right over and don't bother to even question. And my brain's just going. All right. I'm sorry, man. I'm kind of all over the place here.
It's all good, bro.
So the campus, Kent State was kind of created as a normal school. Okay. Normal schools were teacher schools to teach teachers how to teach children. What was big back in that time? The Prussian school teaching method. Mm-hmm. So that's basically how Kent State started, was teaching teachers how to teach the Prussian method. It started in 1910, but it started taking full-time students in 1913. 119,000 would nearly be registered. That's 9/11 backwards. There were 11 faculty members, and the campus grew to 33 buildings. What else do I gotta tell you guys? I mean, all right, so let's jump back to the mound.
That's Kent State. That's Kent State, the college.
That was Kent State, the
Let's go.
college, when it had first started. That was just a small little article in a local newspaper with all those occultic numbers right there for your face.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so fast forward.
So while you're doing that, go ahead and open up your email and set the next portion of the conversation, guys. So this episode is jam-packed with a lot of information, and I need you guys to be patient with us. I usually don't do a lot of photo stuff, but hey, if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. There's going to be a bunch of links in the description of the show. That's where you could reach out to Mathew Lane, and if you have any questions and or want to add stuff to his research on Kent State, Ohio, and the massacre that happened there on that certain date, make sure you reach out to him and drop some knowledge. Make deposits into that bank of knowledge, guys, because that's what we need the most. And we are back with Mathew Lane dropping bombs.
And I apologize for all the pictures and everything, but you kind of have to see it to believe it.
Word.
So, fast forward to this memorial in the woods. I finally went and looked at it myself and took pictures. It consists of 4 stone pillars and a metal disc. I don't have a metal disc in this one. You saw it at the beginning, though. So this metal disc, it's on the ground now because it's been back in the woods for so long. The moment I saw it, the original picture of it still standing, I said, that's a fucking portal. Those are 4 stone pillars and a portal. The portal's even kind of shaped like the pillars. So it goes pillar, portal, pillar, pillar, pillar. Each pillar is an upside down grave. I know this because I actually reached out to the artist who put this in the woods, and I had a 2-hour phone conversation with him. And the things he said made my brain just fire off uncontrollably, and all I could do was be polite.
Okay,
a very
what the
polite
fuck
man.
happened? What did he say?
Well, at first, the first thing we were talking about was this piece here. I'm telling you, when I said it was a 2-hour conversation, I barely got a word in. He told me everything, how he got the bid to do this artwork. He was a student at Kent State in 1974, and they wanted to do a memorial, and they actually hired some extremely well-known artist. I can't remember the name he told me in the moment, but the guy's idea that he proposed was just hideous. It was something ridiculous, and it was almost like a statue tribute to one of the gods, from what Chris explained to me. The artist's name is Christopher Cosma, and I even looked up his last name, and his last name means to invoke change. Cosma, almost like cosmos, but Cosma. So it's change is a big theme of all of this also. So I called Chris. He told me straight up, yes, that is a portal. It's kind of showing them moving on. Each pillar is an upside down grave. So like they poured concrete into a grave hole and pulled it back out, and now it's erect. And the first thing Chris told me was it has nothing to do with phallic symbolism. I said, all right, Chris, I believe you.
That's exactly what it means. Have you ever heard of Dead Kennedys? The punk rock?
It's 4. How many towers fell on 9/11?
4.
I'm fucking showing you. It's 4. 4 towers fell. 1, 2, 6, and 7. Oh, wait, what's 6 and 7 equal? Am I onto something yet for you fans? Anyone listening? Am I onto anything yet? I certainly hope so. So I honestly, my conclusion with all of this artwork and everything, even though Chris was a young man at the time and still in college, and most people wouldn't question the things that he knows, I think this is a highly occultic art display in the woods next to an ancient Indian burial mound and a lake with a very specific name. And I highly believe it was put there for some kind of energetic ritual to power other upcoming events throughout history, including 9/11.
The night the moon turned new, they used exactly the right amount of gunpowder, people, energy, frequency, victims, even Jewish last names, connections, fresh new blood.
Every time they do a memorial thing for it, like the 50-year memorial and everything, it's like the Jewish synagogue comes out. It's a Jewish celebration. and I'm not saying anything gets don't get that the wrong way, but there's something odd behind that. There really is. All four of them died. So now you have the whole Jewish community setting up a memorial behind this sad event every year.
You won't believe what I just found.
Oh, late. I bet you I can't. And here's another thing to do real quick. My first instance on this was let's go find out who the parents are and what they did. I couldn't find shit on them, dude. Nothing. They're all dead.
Do
I
you
couldn't find anything.
remember the moon I told you that happened on May 4th, 1969, 70? What was it? The day of Kent
1970.
State,
1970.
1970. Remember I
Yeah.
told you waning crescent phase
Yeah.
right before a new moon on September 11th, 2001? A waning crescent phase. That same fucking moon.
You just gave me goosebumps, bro. No way.
I swear, I'm just Googling it
No
right now.
way. I wouldn't even
Just-
thought to look that up. Oh my God. I
So the
wouldn't have
moon
thought that
phases have a
existed.
lot to do with it because there's 12, and then you have to you're
Let's
connecting the
go,
numbers,
dude.
the ley lines, everything, bro.
It's everything.
So okay, all right.
I want to show you one more thing real quick.
Hit it.
One more quick thing, because I told you the 12-story building on Kent State, this 12-story library was being built also, but there was also something directly across from on 2 cities away in Cuyahoga Falls being built. Now, back in the 70s, there's a huge cathedral.
I can't see anything, but you're showing me the image again.
Okay.
The image stuck on the image again.
Yep.
Oh, there it is.
Stop sharing. Let me go back to the internet. And I'm gonna tell you more on this artist too. All right. I know it's getting late. We've been doing this for a while. I told you this is informational dense. I found a lot of information. I was not fucking kidding around. This artist himself is connected to New York City himself, and we'll get there.
Oh wow, here we go.
Can you see that picture?
Yeah.
This was supposed to be built right down the road, directly on the ley land, directly across from the 12-story Kent State Library. That's a pinger.
That's a signal pinger.
That's the Church of Tomorrow, which was erected by Rex Homburg, who is a huge TV evangelist. Now, he's since passed, and this building was never finished.
Mm-hmm.
Ernest Angley now owns this building. Let me show you what it actually came to be. You see this? It looks like a fucking a nuclear site smokestack. That's what we have to look at when we drive through the city. It's just big.
It's an ugly ass church,
it's just
bro.
a big fucking tower that shouldn't be there and was never finished.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see here, Rex Humbard. I said Humbard. Humbard. You know, it was supposed to look like that other picture I just showed you. There's like a big Space Needle. And they were actually supposed to have church services and all this other stuff. It ended up never being finished. It got bought up by Ernest Angley, and it just sits there as an eyesore ever since. To me, in my brain, that's holding energy. It's on top of a hill too. That's holding energy, and I think it's connected to Kent State somehow. Even though it's in completely different cities, they are
the Cathedral of Tomorrow.
They are directly down the road from each other up Route 59, I believe. So this artist, he was a great guy. I absolutely loved hearing all the information he was telling me, but I kind of already had this preconceived notion about him and his art. So I dug into him. I dug in him pretty deep. He ended up hooking up and marrying this woman named Denise Ames, and together they have art all over the city of New York, including the Empire State Building, the Chrysler Building, 30 Rockefeller Center, and I'm sure there's they have art in the middle of the streets and stuff, like towers in the middle of this glass towers. So, and Chris, I found a random article. He even had art made from the Twin Towers steel. He turned it into a cross and had it displayed in one of the off buildings of the St. Peter's Cathedral, the biggest Catholic cathedral in New York City. So this little piece right here is called A Tribute to Light. This sits in 30 Rockefeller Center. Okay, this one right here. Do you notice anything with this picture right here? Do you see anything that your eyes pick up in that picture I'm circling for you? Hopefully you see it.
I see a 9. I see a 6.
I see a 9 and 11. There's 2 1s and a 9 right
Oh
there.
my God, dude.
Now, a little more portal for you. I'm not sure where this one sits, what building it's in, but can you see it? It looks like shark. It looks like sharks going in a circle around the portal, or waves maybe. You see this? It's all pointy and jagged. Here's another one, and this big one right here. These people are shaking hands with very rich and powerful and important people who own these buildings. They're connected. Chris himself let me know he was connected to the general that was on campus that day also. His father was friends with him.
He told you that?
He told me that. You want to know something else? I admitted to him I'm doing a podcast on the conspiracy side of this, and his words were, well, let me just get something clear with you. The people who started that fire and burnt down that ROTC building had nothing to do with the people who fired those guns. Chris, why would you say that to me? I'm gonna digress for a second, and we'll get into more of this art.
Oh, no, he needed you. He needed you. He needed to say it so that in case.
He also told me while he's been living in New York City, it was quite a few years after the event, he met one of the men who burnt down the ROTC building. They got to know each other and became friends. The man worked for Hasbro.
The game? Hasbro,
Yes.
the game thing?
Yes. You want to know what he did? You want to know what Chris told me with zero prompt? His job at Hasbro was to develop toys, all the products from movies and stuff like that. Basically Star Wars. You know how how movies came out and then bam, it was your action figures, your lunch pails, your t-shirts,
pre-made,
everything. All that his job was to get into the minds of the children and learn how to sell that shit. One of the men.
They're all connected.
And I didn't even. And see, again, I totally skipped over this too. The day the ROTC building was burnt down. In the book here, it even says that the firefighters were being held back from stopping them from burning down the building. They spent an hour trying to catch it on fire unsuccessfully before they finally got it started. And the entire time, the firefighters were being held back and the police were doing nothing about it. And all these men were in all black, like masked up and everything. You couldn't tell who they were. Now,
the weathermen.
Maybe that's who was here. Maybe they did, because they said, oh, they never showed up. Yes, they did.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did. They showed up and burnt down the building. And you guys didn't tell us because they're all connected CIA agents who all have jobs.
We know exactly what happens in all of these riots. It's been happening here in LA recently. A bunch of people protesting peacefully, and out of nowhere, a bunch of freaking people with hoods show up and start leaving little tools, start emphasizing, and start freaking pushing on to get aggressive, start throwing shit at the cops. And either they're covered up head to toe, all in black with masks, and provoking violence, so that then in return, the law upholders can then have justified taking action against your body with bodily injury wounds. In this case, fatal wounds. In this case, a fucking bloodbath.
An absolute bloodbath. Okay, I got one for you real quick too. So that whole event, the ROTC building being burnt down, a few years later, 11 years later, they came out with a movie on February. Ready for this number? You love this number. February 8th, they came out with a made-for-TV movie depicting.
Oh, I fucking love that number. I love the 8th. I did a whole presentation of the 8th on Cult of Conspiracies, guys, and I just briefly went through it. If you guys go back to the 8th of every single... Hey, guys, the LA riots happened on the 8th. Iran happened on the 8th. Iran and Israel happened on the 8th. I mean, this is just happening right now. If you look about it, every 8th of every single month, something major happens around the world and or catastrophic human life loss.
I got to go back on this too. I'm going to blow through this real quick. Kent, Ohio was founded by the Haymakers and I believe another family. They ended up, the town got renamed after this guy named Marvin Kent, who came to the city, put up the railroads, built the railroad station, and then built a Freemasonic temple that he lived in. It was a fucking mansion right on the top of Main Street Hill. So it's so strategically placed, and it's made out of this beautiful red brick. It's a gorgeous building, said to be haunted and all that too. That's a whole rabbit hole in itself. So Kent itself, man, it's anybody who comes to Kent, it's hard for them to leave. One of my closest friends came from New York City, the Bronx, to play football at Kent State. Never left Kent. My kids, I take them to Kent because I don't live there anymore. Grew up there. They all want to move to Kent. They love it. The vibe there is awesome. It's a very left the city being a college town, but it's also a very like just easy, fun, beautiful place to be. That flowing river literally comes between our main streets, come down into a hill right to the river. We have a beautiful waterfall. The city's good. We're also known for, we were called Tree City. We are the tree city of the entire country because of Davy Tree that was placed there. And then another thing, Marvin Kent was also good friends with Carnegie, who funded our library.
The 12-story library.
No, this is our downtown library in Kent. Not the Kent State Library, it's the 12-story one. But the fact that Carnegie's also connected to Kent really made me raise my eyebrow. In the exact same building, so like, you know, big building, you had their little loft that they basically turned into an art studio and a party center, and we're pushing a lot of cultural change in the arts in New York City. It was right next to the CBGB.
What do you mean?
The CBGB, you know what that is?
No, explain that to me.
Okay, the CBGB was the reason why punk music became so big. The CBGB, the Country Bluegrass and Blues Bar, was meant to be that, but they even made a movie about it. It turned into a punk rock scene in the 70s. It was the punk rock scene. If you were in punk rock music and you were big, you played at the CBGB.
Who's connected with the CBGB?
The CIA. I'm just going to say it. And Chris and his art group, they called the Mabwibwi. Can you see that? Is it sharing? So the Mabwibwi, and I even I asked Chris directly about this. I said, "Can you please tell me about the Mabwibwi and your art group back in the 70s?" And he told me all about it. His art, basically, music, changing culture.
Well, look, bro, it isn't new. We've seen it with the Black Panthers. We've seen it with the Bloods and Crips. The only reason why the Bloods and Crips exist today is because they were a political movement to liberalize and also bring in civil rights, specifically in the LA area. So you start seeing many of the gangs that are today gangs. They were created originally to oppose, and then they were infected. They were siphoned, I want to say, by strategic sleeper cells that then made the entire movement look corrupt. And that's exactly what happened. It got corrupt. Do you think the Bloods and Crips know their history? Do you think still to this day they know why they exist? CRIPBLOODS? That's retarded, bro. Now they just scan back to see who sells the most.
I still can't do it.
I think I could still do it.
I had 12-year-olds I was coaching in football last year who could throw it up better than me. I can't do that. I can't bend my fingers like that. I might get shot if I do that shit. Let's stop. All right. I hope not. I hope no Crips watch this. See, here's another thing too, real quick. Another reason why I highly believe they picked Kent State to do this, all that, is because of the LCD industry that Kent State had boomed. If you did not know this, the LCD screens were founded at
LCD as in TV, iPhone, laptop.
Yes. The multi-billion-dollar industry that spawned 10 LCD companies started at Kent State.
You know what, dude? Fucking Matthew, bro. Look, Matt, I'm gonna tell you something. Why don't you start there?
1967, they founded LCD screens at Kent State. Now, the Kent State massacre happens, and then boom. All of these famous people started flooding Kent State. I won't say flood, but I'll tell you a couple off the top of my head here. Drew Carey.
Take this freaking thing. I can't see your face. I hate freaking things.
Oh!
Sorry.
You're good. You're good.
Here, I got you. I'm over here
Got it?
sweating. I got no AC in this bitch.
Yeah, dude, I had to turn mine off because I kept getting chilly. My feet are sweating. I can smell them right now, brother. I'm excited, dog. I'm excited to be telling this information.
I never
finally.
do long shows like this, bro. I'm gonna have to edit a lot of the portions
I'm
out
so
to make.
sorry. Yeah, I know. All right.
All right.
Drew Carey went to Kent State but never finished. Arsenio Hall, Steve Harvey. There's 3 talk show hosts right there. Michael Keaton, the original Batman, right? I won't say original, but he was the best Batman. Let's get it real. Joe Walsh, all right. Famous guitarist. Devo, some chick named Chrissy Hind of the Pretenders. Some famous cartoonist Tom Batacoot, who does Funky Winkerbean. Funk Winkerbean. There's a huge cartoon strip.
Don't know none of these names.
Arsenio Hall and Steve Harvey. You don't know who those are?
Steve Harvey? Explain
Steve
that
Harvey.
to me. Who the fuck is Steve Harvey?
He's the black guy with the mustache.
I know Steve Harvey. The guy that
Bald as you.
the guy that tells the people about how to live your life with as a marriage couple. Yeah, he divorced his wife because he cheated on her. Yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah. So another one was Jack Lambert and, you ready for this? Nick Saban. Both played football at Kent State. Right after this all happened, or during. Jack Lambert was there from 70 72. Lambert was also born and raised right down the road from Kent, in Manaway. But Nick Saban, one of the most accomplished college coaches of all time, also played for Kent State. They won Kent State's only MAC championship came when those guys were playing.
Shut the fuck up. I just found something.
Just a couple years after. So, like, again, tragedies happen and the city is rewarded for it. Kent State is one of the worst goddamn football teams of all fucking time in college football. We're garbage. Okay, go look up our record last year. We haven't won a game in the past 2 years. The last time we were good, somebody I knew and grew up with that was actually playing for them. That was probably around 2016.
Oh my
They're
God,
terrible.
Matthew.
Even their win record in 1970 came down to 0.222%. The numbers just keep going and going. It's ridiculous. What'd you find? Tell me. Play it on me.
Listen to this. Innovations and discoveries coming from Kent State, Ohio. Liquid crystal technology. Listen to this fucking shit.
What did I miss?
I just had a conversation with. Listen to this, bro. I just had a conversation on the Cryptid Huntress podcast. I was on her show on YouTube. And the girl told me something about liquid crystal technology on reptilian figures. So the reptilians use liquid crystal masks to masquerade and pretend to be humans. Now, look, I know it sounds a little fucking silly. Okay.
It doesn't surprise me. Some of the
Massive
stuff I've seen online.
Anti-nuclear breakthrough. Researchers at Kent State were part of an international team that discovered the most massive anti-nuclears to date, containing an anti-strange quark. We're talking about crystal technology, liquid obsidian, liquid crystals, bro. This is definitely Nephilim technology, bro. 1,000%. This is exactly what you find in the Yucatan Peninsula. I did this presentation on the Olmecs. The same technology they were using to tap into the organic algorithm of the Earth. Oh my fucking God! You guys are. This is kind of like what happened in what's it called? In North Carolina, with the freaking hurricane. That entire mound was purchased by Elon Musk and all these other elites to buy what? Quartz and stone and liquid crystals? Bro, shut the fuck up, man.
Can I tell you what most of Chris and his wife's art displays and all those important buildings all over New York City are made out of? Metal, stone, glass, crystal.
Check this out.
Even the weight and size of some of their stuff, it's down to the numbers.
Some of the biggest community contributions to the local community and the economy was cultural development and conditioning. American Sign Language and Liquid Crystal Institute dedicated to liquid crystal research and development.
Kent State's huge, man. We're a very underrated school when it comes to education. They try to call us Kent.
I'm tripping
Kent
balls.
Read, Kent Write, Kent State. But not only did they have all that, but they were like one of the first colleges in the country to ever put together like a medical. They connected with 3 other campuses to make. I'm sorry. three other campuses. It was Youngstown, Kent State, and one other. All of their libraries are connected and have one of the biggest medical record and medical information out of any library in the world. We're also connected to a pharmacology college right down the road from us in Cleveland State.
See,
Recently
this
added
is
to
the
that.
thing I'm telling you about. Maybe if you would have skipped over the fucking pictures and just let your brain talk, you would have brought all this
I needed people to
information
see the pictures. Y'all gotta see what this art looks like, bro. It's mind-boggling. If anyone watching this is already hip to the occult, like I wanna take this to John, out of the Occult Rejects. I want him to look at this. There's Michael Wan. I want to look at this. There's Ross Ben. I want to look at this because Ross Ben knows the geomancy and the art play together. If anybody who doesn't know who Ross Ben is and his work on the 40th parallel with all this is taking place, right? If the 40th parallel is a little bit south.
He probably already knows about it, bro.
It's Columbus, Philadelphia, New York. Kent, Ohio's only 2 hours above that. It's not that big of a
it's the
difference.
same. The frequency gets shared. They get what's it called? Radiation. That's what they got. It's called. They get that radiation. And plus all those crystals down there, that's a hot spot, bro. That's a fucking hot spot. Yo.
I know there's plenty of information I'm missing, but we could do this all night. I know you're getting tired. It's already.
Bro, I had a 12-hour shift. I'm fucking tired. I'm sweating balls, and I have to shower and do all the other crazy shit. But look, let me tell you something, bro. This information is rare, especially at the amount of precision that you're putting it out. You took the time of the day not only to be on the show, but off your day to present this to the audience, and most importantly, bro, to wake other people up about how backwards this life is and this world is, and how the powers that be are controlling us in every single way, bro.
All perverted.
All perverted, connecting it to that just one. You know, I came from the rave scene. And before you got to EDC, which is the biggest music festival in the Western Hemisphere with 300,000 people attending it, you have the mini raves. So there's 8 big giant stadiums. Stages on that big rave. So to get to that big rave, if you know about raves, you'll understand that you have to go to the little raves to start seeing how the buildup is. You have to go to the trance raves, you have to go to the hard style ones, you have to go to the house, to the dubsteps. And then when you get to all the freaking things, when you get to the main event, at that main event, you see all the stages that you previously paid to go see before. So all the stages under one big conglomerate. And then the energy is real. The energy is harvested from you, bro. Like opening Pandora's box, and you just, and everybody's there attending for that one mission with one intent, one feeling, one emotion, all synchronized. And why do you think that is, right? What happens with the World Series, bro? You have the preseason, you have the season, then you have the semifinals, then the finals, and then the big boom, right? With everything, bro. With the Super Bowl. Why do you think it's called the Super Bowl? Because everybody's in that bowl pouring all that energy into that center Masonic fucking field square, you know?
What's the words they always say? At every Super Bowl, it all comes down to this. You got to name this podcast. Podcasts are better than bullets or flowers, whichever you choose.
Flowers are better than bullets.
Flowers are better than bullets.
I am going to do some light editing on it. I'm gonna do some
Absolutely.
light editing on it because I want you to sound like boom, 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 boom. And
I'm sorry. I still so many notes, bro, and I'm gonna get it down. I gotta do the circuit with this information. I gotta hit all the podcasts with this.
You know how you're gonna take this information to the next podcast? You're gonna take it exactly how I'm telling you. You already today. You brought the second time you bring this presentation. You bring this presentation. You did a lot better this time. You're gonna take it to the third person at a different show, bro, and you're just gonna be like, boom, boom, boom. The person's gonna be like, "What the fuck?" You're gonna mention the moon phases. Watch it all just ramble out of you, bro.
Bro, I gotta write that down. We'll do that at the end, though.
The wedding crescent moon. Yeah, man. Yo, everybody, make sure you check out Mathew Lane. If you have any questions, check him out on the description of the show. Thank you. If you've been this long, this here, whatever the fuck, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm fucking tired. Guys, make sure you check him out. Mathew Lane, where can I find you one more time?
Awakened Lion on Instagram, Awakened Lion 29 on X. I don't use that too much, but if you reach out to me, I'll get the message. And just look out in the near future on all your podcast catchers. We'll be coming soon. The Hometown Prophet podcast. And I also just got to give a big shout out to a very special friend who got me off my ass and took me out to go take those pictures and see that art firsthand. It was a wonderful day walking through the woods and seeing it. And it was just amazing being able to catch those pictures and see them for myself. So big shout out to them for helping me out with that. And I hope you all enjoyed this information. And if you guys have anything, if any of you are like me and hear this information and it sparks your interest and you find anything, please bring it to me. And if I talk about it, I will give you full credit for it. Like Trebles here in the moon phases, I'm writing that down as soon as we end, and that's going into the book as well. So Trebles, thank you so much for having me. I don't want to say the word blessed, because I don't want to be less. I want to be more. But, sir, I am blessed to have you in my life. I appreciate you being here with me today and having me on your show, and all the random phone calls you give me, checking in up on me after the hard time I went through, brother. You've gotten me through quite a bit, so thank you.
Dude, I can't emphasize how much important it is, bro, how important it is to check up on your brothers. I want to tell you something, bro. I don't have a lot of friends, man. My best friends today are digital ones on screen like this. Like moments like this, like tonight, where the best tones and the best stories and the best sagas are made, bro. And today you were part of that, man. So thank you so much for bringing in amazing research, most of all, friendship, loyalty, and amazingness, bro, because you're a powerful human being. I cannot wait to see you on your own show, bro. I think you're coming in a little late, but you know what?
I should have done this 5 years ago, man.
But you know what, bro? Coming
now.
in a little late, but you know how to make an entrance because you have been on every major podcast in the fucking planet. You're going to be on Nephilim Death Squad, Huge Win, Cult of Conspiracies, Paranoi Radio, on White Rabbit.
I'm kicking down the doors on Tinfoil Hat. I already went and shook Sam's hand. He kind of blew me off a little, but I got that man's email, and I'm going to blow that shit up until he... And plus, you know, I'm going to get sweet on NDS and tell him, be like, go talk to Sam for me. You know?
Drop the hammer.
Not what you know, it's who you know, baby.
Yeah, you know what? 1,000%, bro. And then how do you think I got here? Fucking shaking hands and rubbing elbows with everybody. Shit, you have to do it, bro. You know, mad love and respect to what you're doing, bro. I cannot wait for the Neighborhood Prophet podcast broadcast to be broadcasting on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Oh, yeah, Hometown Prophet. Yo, make sure you check him out and drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. That allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. Peace.